My name is Unardi Lawanto. I'm the assistant professor here in the department called Engineering Educations. The last 2 years, I've been working on a NSF-funded projects. And in that project, I developed a new kind of note, if you will. I call it EGN. It stands for Enhanced Guided Notes. EGN essentially is incomplete notes which I developed and I provided for the students. So the idea here is during lectures I give EGN to the students, so they need to pay attention what we discuss in class, and they have to fill in the blanks. I added several prompts, and that kind of prompt questions essentially to trigger students to think about something that they probably never thought about. So I call that kind of prompt is a metacognitive prompts. But what is metacognitions then?
Well, the study itself is about thinking. So as soon as we figure out what the best way of thinking is, or the best way to approach thinking based on our study.
Metacognition essentially in the plain language, there are so many definitions around here. Simple definition about metacognition is thinking about thinking. So the EGN project that I get funding from NSF, I can say that's comprised two parts. The first part, essentially, I use the EGN, the paper-based EGN. And the second part, I use the electronic version of the same EGN and ask students to complete their notes through iPads.
My name is Kyle Klein. I'm studying mechanical engineering as an undergrad.
Yes. My name is Cody Pickering. I am studying mechanical engineering here.
Well, I just took the class, the circuits class, last spring, and it was just introduced to us the first week of class that he was doing that study. Well, with the iPad, it's just all in a PDF format that you can write directly on the iPad. So you're taking notes onto this formatted structure directly with the iPad.
The main idea behind it seemed to be the capability to share notes between students.
But I do know that he was trying to get out of the study how much the iPad or that technology will help a student with his studies.
And it was very helpful to be able to look at their notes and be able to fill in mine. So I guess that helps.
The one pro of it was that when we were supposed to be turning it in to do our shared notes, we had a small group that we were able to share our notes with in case we weren't in class or in case we missed something from class that we didn't get onto the EGN.
I collect data from survey that I designed. So I distribute the same survey twice before, or at actually the beginning of the semesters when they just barely know about EGN. And then I collected data from the same survey at the end of the semesters when they have using the EGN for one semesters.
Now we have some data from the first pilot study that we've been going through, and I have the opportunity to analyze the data, which is kind of an interesting task.
I found there is a movement, okay, from the low group of students before in the EGNs. Some of them moved to the medium, if you know what I'm trying to say here. And the same thing, people from the medium group before, they moved to the high. Okay, so why metacognition is becoming is important? Why I'm interested in these topics? Well, because not a lot of teaching materials, or not enough of learning materials, if you will, where we can help, we can ask students to practice their thinking process, their thought process.